Everybody, Moo here. It is May, and as a result, we got our new Star Wars Tsum Tsum. Today we're going to be taking a look at Luke plus R2-D2, and this Tsum Tsum is hard, man. It's hard. Basically, you need to use every single skill that you've learned throughout your careers in Disney Tsum Tsum to really master the ability. What it does is essentially Luke comes out and then he does a screen clear. You're going to need to use Luke in order to charge R2-D2. R2-D2 by itself does not provide a lot of value. All it does is it creates Tsum Tsum that you can link together and it blows up the screen. What you want to do, however, is to use R2-D2's skill and then immediately after stack Luke's skill on top. When you do that, C-3PO is going to appear on screen and you're going to be able to clear very large chains across the screen if you're lucky. So RNG plays a factor into the whole equation as well, which makes Luke even harder to truly master. And as a result, you're going to be caught eventually with scenarios with screens where you can only make shorter chains, and you have to quickly think about all of this as it's happening in real time. You're going to sometimes have to be forced as a result to go for those time bubbles instead. You're not going to be able to link C-3PO across your screen to get your 37, 38, 40 clears to get as much coin as possible. And you also have to keep track, of course, at what stage of the fever gauge you're at, what stage of the skill gauges you're at, because you need to stack the two together in order to get the maximum value. So very difficult Tsum Tsum, very high ceiling as far as mastering it. But as a result, you're also going to be rewarded with incredible output as far as both score and coin are concerned. That's generally the case with very difficult Tsum Tsum to play. So, as far as our 3 games are concerned, I'm not going to promise the moon here. I'm still learning him. I played him quite a bit, much more so than new Tsum Tsum that come out. You can see he's already level 13. So I've definitely put in at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, just kind of messing around, trying to learn all of the different abilities, which I'm going to show you right now. So let's jump straight into game number 1 and see what happens, man. See what happens. Again, not easy, not easy. So, especially when you don't get any of the C3P or the R2-D2s. So we're getting a bunch of R2-D2s right now. However, we're not getting any Lukes. There we go. All right, so we're going to use R2-D2, immediately spam Luke on top, and you're going to see C-3PO is going to start appearing on screen. And we can start making the large chains if we're able to connect them. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to want to do. Realistically, it's not always going to be possible. You're not going to be able to always have both skill charged at the same time. And, just kind of make it work however best you can. Sometimes you're going to get more of the Lukes, in which case at least that makes it a little bit easier because you can keep spamming his skill to refresh the screen. With R2-D2, on the other hand, it's going to be a huge waste if you're being forced out of fever time to use his ability. So just kind of gauge it by what's happening on screen there. Got a bit lucky there. There was no reason why the game would have given me the one Luke that I needed to make that happen, but it'd be like that sometimes. There we go. And definitely save those time bubbles to tap them when you're in the stacked fever time gauge mode, if you will, so that you can refresh the C-3POs quicker, link them quicker. Ideally, you should be able to get 3, I believe. 3 long chains. If you can't seem to get lucky with the positioning of the Tsum Tsum, just spam a bunch of the small ones. Hopefully you'll get a time bubble And okay, we got one long chain there before the time expired. It's a 5.3k base coin, a 16 million score, base score. But as I was saying, if you can't see a long chain that you can connect with either the C3POs or the R2-D2s, make like 3 or 4 length chains. That's going to give you the best chance of getting a time bubble with the exploding surrounding Tsum Tsum. So again, very complicated. 7,000 coin after the booster was applied, 16.5 million after everything else was applied on top of that. So not bad, not bad. Even though the game was relatively rough, we didn't do particularly well, but we still ended up with 5.3k base coin. So the game does reward you for the difficulty level of the Tsum, if you will. Let's go into game number 2. Hopefully we can best that. Maybe we can get a game with like 6,000 or 7,000 base coin. That really depends on if we get lucky with the time bubbles though. So we'll see how that plays out. Ugh. Or, you know, we could get a game with 3,000 base coin because we're not getting any Tsum Tsum. But hey, yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, let's make that chain real quick. We don't want to waste the R2-D2s. They're very, very precious. The R2-D2s charge very, very slowly too, which just adds to the suffering with this Tsum Tsum. So this is one of those instances where we didn't have a long chain to make. So I made a time bubble instead, by luck, of course. Okay, we're gonna have to go for it here. I don't have an R2-D2 link, and I don't want to waste a 5-second re-entry by spending 5 seconds to try and get a chain. That's one of those situations you're going to be caught out sometimes, and you have to make a decision on what you're going to do and how you're going to approach that problem. So, yeah. This time it was easy because we're nowhere near recharging R2, so we're just going to spam Luke as much as we can. But again, with R2 by himself, try not to use the skill unless you absolutely have to. Like, you're outside of fever time, you're not getting anywhere, the clock is ticking, and you got to make something happen, then pop him. But otherwise, try to stack him with Luke almost every single time. I'm going to have 3 bubbles on screen after the skill sets off, so we shouldn't have any issues getting back into fever time. We got a nice time bubble from one of the Sith Lords. Wasn't able to use Luke one more time, but that would have definitely been another 5,000 base coin game there. So, you know, relatively consistent, giving the RNG factor and everything. And certainly you can do much, much better than this. If you're a faster player in particular and you're able to keep track of absolutely everything on screen, faster you are, the more efficient you are, you're going to have great results with this Tsum Tsum. All right, final game. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll get lucky, get a better game. 10,000 base coin. I don't know, man. That's a stretch, you know? That's a bit of a stretch. I'll see what I can do, however. Okay, let's pop the Luke here. Hopefully you can clean up some of the R2s on screen. That's the problem with him. It takes so many Tsum Tsum to charge that sometimes you think you have just the right length, but you're one short, and it really messes up the equation, so... We're just going to pop it here. That looks like he's close, but he's not. He's going to need like at least another 12 Tsum to charge there. So we go. Not ideal, not ideal. Again, we lost like at least a couple seconds during that entire animation process. Come on, Link, please. Time bubble, please. Oh my god. See, that's exactly what just happened. I thought I had it, and I was one short. Ugh. This game sometimes, man. I'm trying to get some time bubbles now to extend the gameplay and potentially recover a little bit from this like, look at this, we're at 2,600 base coin right now. Ugh. Just not a good game. I don't want to use the R2 right here. And now, of course, the game is trying to punish me even more by only giving me R2s, but hopefully we'll get an instant recharge or close to with what's happening on screen right now. I'm just gonna go for it here. No! Brutal, brutal. We're ending off on a low note, but it'd be like that sometimes. Again, Mr. Pilot Luke and R2, very good Tsum Tsum, very strong, very capable, unlimited ceiling. You have basically every tool available to you in the game. You can go for the shorter chains to make the time bubbles, go for the longer chains to get more coin. It's kind of a combination of a burst Tsum Tsum and a maleficent Tsum Tsum, like that birthday Anna. If you happen to use just the R2 by himself, again, everything is in there. Everything, every skill you've learned, you must utilize and master and refine to get the absolute best out of this Tsum Tsum. And if you do put in that time, you will be rewarded generously. But is it fun? I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes I just want to chill. I just want to play the game for fun. And if I have to keep track of everything the way, like literally the only thing missing out of that Tsum is having gyro enabled. So, you know, but if I just want to have fun, if I just want to chill, you know, earn some quick coin, this isn't that Tsum. This is one of those grinder Tsum if you want to set like a high score, if you want to set like a high coin earning thing. Sure, by all means, grind it for a few hours, see if you get lucky with the time bubbles and everything kind of, you know, the stars aligning for you essentially. So for me, top Tsum Tsum, probably not going to play it too much just because it is way too much work for me, man. I just want to have fun these days, you know? So if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them all in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for your likes, your subs, and your viewership. See you in the next one. Peace.